Hello, this is John Sargent with Wilkins Harley-Davidson. I want to do a brief run through on the infotainment system on a 2014 CVO Ultra Limited. And we're going to keep this a brief rundown. You could spend hours on this system, but let's go over the fundamentals on what we're going to use as riders on typically the average ride on a daily basis. So the way this system works is it's powered on by our thumb kill switch. We turn that on, the whole system is going to come on. Now, if I want to just turn on my infotainment system, with this off, I can press and hold my trip switch up here. If I press and hold that, that turns on our infotainment system, as well as would change, if the ignition was on, our readout on our odometer from trip A, trip B, our fuel range, and go through our details on that. So, with that said, this screen, this warning screen is going to pop up every time your infotainment system turns on. You have to hit accept every time it turns on. So once we hit accept, it opens up. Now this screen here does have a protector on it, so never remove that protector. You can see the corners of it are cut out. Also be very careful with what you use to clean your screen. Certain chemicals will affect that screen in a negative way, so we want to avoid that. All right? Now this screen also is pressure sensitive to be activated. So whether you're wearing gloves or not is not going to make a difference like on your cell phone. This is going to be activated via our switches, and again, it's all pressure activated. So wherever I push with my finger, I can operate it. Now, with that said, the system also has two 5-way joysticks that help operate this unit. This joystick on this side is a 5-way joystick to move us up and down, side to side, and also select. So if we push that in, that's going to make the selection. This joystick on this side has our home screen button on it, so we can go to home, which takes us to our home screen or previous screen. It's also our volume up and down, as well as our seek, tune, or change song option. Allows us to move back and forth in that manner. Now the passenger does have certain controls themselves on the motorcycle, and what those controls do is they can adjust their volume and their headset only, not the volume of the speakers. They can also change the source and change the station back and forth. Now for those days where you're having an argument on what you want to listen to, the rider does have the power to go into settings and shut off the rear controls. They can disable that feature. Okay, so moving forward with this, you have your home button, you have your favorites, you have your navigation, and you have your mute/power. One touch with this will mute it or turn your music back on, and if you press and hold for 3 seconds, it will power the system down. We have our indicators down here along the lower bar here. The bar and shield will always be on there. This is our speaker indicator when we're muted, our clock, and then when we have CB or Intercom on, those will be displayed down here, as well as our Bluetooth icon will be on here as well. And when our phone is Bluetooth to this, we'll also have capabilities of seeing what our battery life and our service strength. Inside here is what we call a boom box. This has a foam padding in which you can remove and help fit to your phone. Most phones will slide right in here, and you can close this to help keep it protected from the elements. And you have a USB port right in here. Now you can use that to plug in your phone to charge it, or an MP3 or power device. You can also use that to stream music via an MP3 player. So it's a really nice feature to have on the motorcycle. Also up here, we have our power switches right below this for our power locks on the bike, as well as our spot lamp switch over on this side. Now, moving forward, our home button. This is our home screen. We have favorites, media, tuner, communication, our Sirius XM options, nav, as well as our setup options up here in the corner. Now, I'm not going to touch too much on favorites. It's something that they go over in your owner's manual. You can set various presets from different sources like AM, FM, weather band on one screen. But if you're into that, I am more than happy to answer your questions. Also, again, it's in your owner's manual. Media. Media is where we have our Bluetooth items or a USB drive. That's where we can access that music, is via media. Tuner opens up and we have our options of FM, AM, and weather band. So if we select one, we have our presets on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This arrow over here brings us to another 5 presets. And then you have another 5 presets. This is strictly for FM. When you go to the AM option menu, you'll have your own presets for AM as well as for weather band. Now with that said, we can also cycle that with our joystick. But to save on time and clarity, we're just going to use our touchscreen for today. So up here, we have our menu. This allows us to change from seek, tune, and presets. And what that's doing is it's allowing us to decide what we want our joystick to control, moving left and right, because it's a multi-function button. So if I have this set on seek, when I use my joystick to go left or right, I'm going to be seeking to the next station. Tune, I can decide which station I actually want to listen to, and presets will cycle strictly through our preset stations. RBDS is radio band data signal, which will allow to display any text or song information via that radio station. It will show it on your screen. Up here again is our audio option. Audio allows us to adjust our bass and our treble. We can also click fader and speed volume. Speed volume increases the sensitivity of your speed. So if we have this all the way up, it's going to increase 4 bars our volume as we increase speed or reduce speed. With speed volume off, our speed will not affect the volume of our radio whatsoever. We have our fade, which allows us to adjust where we want the music on our motorcycle from front to back, strictly by dragging it on the screen or tapping where we want the music. And that's going to do that. And we can have it somewhere in the middle if we want it. We can have it all in the front, all in the rear. Pretty self-explanatory there. Okay. Now to exit the screen, we can click exit, or if we just want to go back, we can click back. To save a preset, I find the station I want, I press and hold the preset I want, and now we have a preset saved. In just a moment, it spreads out. Same rules apply for our AM and our weather band stations. Okay. Now going back home, we have our communication. Communication is where we can turn on or off our CB, our intercom, and link up our phone. So CB, we turn it on, our CB icon comes on, and now we can pick our CB station, and that's where we can adjust our squelch accordingly via our squelch button here on the side. If I want to shut CB off, I can simply tap the off switch. Now keep in mind, when you have your CB screen on and we try to adjust our volume, we are strictly adjusting the volume for the CB station, not our radio station. This is our CB information. This is also what the passenger can adjust with their volume on the rear section of what is in their headset. So if I exit that, I go back home, communication, the same rules apply for intercom. Now intercom is rider to passenger communication, not bike to bike communication. So this is when we turn it on, our intercom comes on, and we can adjust our Vox, which is our voice over command. That's the sensitivity of our headsets, determining how loud we need to speak before it activates our intercom system. Okay? Now, on CB, we press and hold this option to speak. On CB, it's voice activated, so we don't have to use that. When it comes to phone, you're going to turn Bluetooth on your phone. All this information is also in your owner's manual. Make sure your Bluetooth is on here as well. You can change your ringtone. You can go to list paired devices. So if we wanted to add a new device, I would turn that on my phone. Or perhaps maybe we want to delete a device. So, for instance, we paired Mark's phone on here as a setup. So now we're going to delete his pairing. Deleted. Now we can add another device, and that does not have to be a phone. It's anything Bluetooth capable that you can add. So a Bluetooth capable MP3 player will be able to link up with this. We have our Sirius XM information, which you can log into, gives you the phone number and as well as the information, so you can activate your Sirius satellite radio, and the system is already programmed to have that in there. There's an extra unit inside the fairing that supports Sirius satellite radio. Now setup options. Setup allows us to go through quite a few different things, but to keep it simple, we have our speaker headset, which we determine where we want what. So if we have our headset on, if I want my communication in my headset, well, I just tap it to headset, and vice versa for speakers. Audio setup is another location to adjust our bass, treble, speed, volume that we went over briefly before. Our display options allow us to adjust our screen brightness, so it can be automatic if we want. There's an infrared sensor, or we can shut that off and we can adjust the manual brightness of our screen here. Button brightness, you actually have lighted switch housings on here, which allow our buttons to be lit up in darker situations, and we can adjust the brightness of that as well. Colors allows you to change from day colors to night colors or automatic. You can also adjust your background color from various options depending on what you'd like to have. Other options, if we scroll down, are our feedback settings. This is where we can adjust our nav prompt volume, and as well as the prompt volume from our system. Beep volume is the beep on our stereo. And we can turn on or off our nav prompts based on our own preference right here. Now you have a lot of options on here, but to save on time and confusion,